But yeah, no, I mean, I thought there was some good stuff. I guess we'll dive into outside because I know we've had a lot of talk, I'm sure, with the ACC, Big Ten, SEC, all that kind of jazz. I'm kind of at the point where I think also FSU fans are now that we got to hear from some of the players today. Just tired of the whole conference talk. That will happen when it happens or when reports come out. That'll be shared. But we actually got to hear some good stuff from Jamie Robinson, who I thought really, really is confident, it seems like, in himself, but also in the defense. You know, he said that he thinks that the secondary is going to be really dangerous this year. And that's something that I think a lot of outlets covering this team are expecting. You know, you bring back guys that have been with the program for years and years, and then you bring in some young talent that flashed last season with Kevin Knowles, Marion Cooper. You got bring in a guy like Greedy Vance too, and you got Renardo Green fully healthy. And then you got Akeem Dent and Jamie Robinson, which could be one of the nastiest tandems in the ACC at safety. So I saw a lot of confidence out of Jamie, and then also going over to Coach Norvell, and you see a little bit more of. He's really showing us that this team has more leadership with one another and calling each other out on things and holding each other accountable. That's something that he wanted to fix immediately once arriving in Tallahassee. And the accountability, I think, is going to be a big thing moving forward. If Florida State's going to have to find success on the field, that's going to be a big one. But you see more of a family brotherhood that has needed to be built from the ground up after losing that between the Jimbo Fisher and that collapse and then Taggart collapse there of the locker room.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I think it was good to hear Norvell, Fabian Lovett, Jamie Robinson, and Jordan Travis talk about that. I mean, you're in a position right now with this Florida State program. Look, I mean, you and I are going to be loyal to this school because this is our alma mater. We're tied to Florida State forever because of that piece of paper. We're proud Noles. But you have to hold yourself accountable. The last 5 seasons have been unacceptable by Florida State standards. But the question is going to be, I guess, and I'll point this to you, Logan. We've evaluated the schedule before. We've evaluated how this team could start the season. What to you is the standard? And I'm not saying what you think Florida State's going to be, but what is the standard right now for you for this Florida State team this season?
The bottom floor is going to be making a bowl game. It's embarrassing to go this long, and throughout the last couple of years, you can't even make it to a bowl game and compete. That's the lowest standard you can go as being a Florida State fan, person with the program, an athlete, like these players are saying at the ACC Media Day. That is the lowest it's going to go. The regular thing every year is competing for an ACC championship. You know, this is going to be the last time that you will have divisions in the league next year. It will be the true 2 top teams in ACC competing for that championship. The standard is always to be there competing for the ACC trophy at the end, and then that puts you into, you know, a New Year's Six bowl. Florida State has got to get back onto that caliber, and it's going to start with the locker room, and that's something Mike Norvell has done, and he talked about it today during one of his press conferences, saying on the recruiting front, they're trying to bring in guys that fit the locker room. I mean, they can bring in talent, they can bring in guys that are highly ranked, but under their own evaluations, they're going to bring in guys that they feel like are going to mesh well with current players. And you see that with what they've been able to do, not only in the recruiting side of things, but in the transfer portal, bringing in guys like Jamie Robinson, bringing in guys like Fabian Lovett. You know, I think some guys, some people might be surprised. A lot of these guys, I mean, Jordan Travis, all 3 players at ACC Media Day are all transfers. And Florida State has done a fantastic job in the transfer portal. Mike Norvell being one of the top coaches in the country, being able to select guys that are talented, who develop into becoming leaders, and now they lead their team into representing Florida State at ACC Media Day. And so I think that's something Florida State, you know, got to give hat tip off to them and the staff and what they're able to do whenever they're pressed against a wall and put into some tough situations. And Florida State has got to continue to do that, not only having to rely on the transfer portal. You can't rely on that all the time, but you're starting to see a groove with the recruiting side of things and bringing in guys that mesh well. I mean, you look at Jared Verse, too, who I think is going to be a key factor and being a game changer for Florida State on defense this upcoming year. That's a transfer. And from what we saw in the spring, there's a lot to like. And, that's just kind of my emphasis on the locker room changing the culture that was needed.